Nashville, Tennessee. It's the Three. With the Studio C Band. And here's your host, Laura Harris-Smith.
Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Harris-Smith, and welcome to The Three. Glad you guys are here. This is the only television show that looks at how the crazy current events shaping our world are shaping you, body, mind, and spirit. And you guys know how passionate I am about, the body, mind, and spirit message, right? Most of you know that. It's my branding for sure now. And it's a very effective tool, I find, because when, you introduce this concept to someone, when you say to them, you're composed of three parts, it's like you can just look at them and you can tell if you're just saying maybe over dinner, it's just a casual conversation, you're made of three parts. They suddenly have this revelation like, oh, I knew I had a body. Okay, and I know I have a mind. You're telling me I have a spirit? I'm responsible for doing something with my spirit? Well, it's like finding out that you had this other kid you didn't know about, like hiding in another part of the house, and all of a sudden you're responsible for him. So I love having this discussion with people about body, mind, and spirit, because it's when you get to that juncture that they realize, I got to nourish this part of myself. So, they know they have to feed their body. They know they have to keep their emotions in check and their stress levels under control. But you'd be amazed at how many people out there are walking around and they have no idea that they have a spirit. Well, who's telling them? Do you know? Who's telling them they have the spirit? Because I'm telling you, if they're not in church, nobody's telling them they have a spirit. You know who's not telling them that they have a spirit? Hollywood is not telling them that they have this. The TV shows and films that you're seeing are really good at showing you the body, too much of the body, actually. They're really good and impressively successful at putting you in touch with your emotions, right? But when is the last time that you saw a film whose sole focus, not some, subplot along the way, but whose sole focus was nudging you towards God? Okay, maybe you are seeing some Christian movies, flashing through your mind right now, but I want to ask you to narrow it down even further. Of all those Christian movies that you're thinking about right now, how many of them were not cheesy? Okay? Come on. I do not like cheesy Christian films. Actually, I don't like cheese at all, but I especially don't like it on my movie. All right. So, thank you. Well, my guests today have mastered the combination of media excellence and uncompromising spiritual conviction. And they've raised a godly family in the heart of Hollywood. Listen, it's hard enough to raise a godly family outside of Hollywood. I can't imagine how hard it is in Hollywood, especially if both of your parents are in the industry. And, if you don't think that Hollywood has an effect on you and your family, you're wrong. And I've researched this. I wrote a book about 10 years ago just about this topic. It was a story actually about my family. It's called Great Big, and, because I've got 6 kids. But it wasn't a once upon a time story. It was a book about a woman in TV writing a sitcom about her family of 6 kids. In it, the woman explores the connection between the American family statistics and what was airing on television that influenced them during that time. I researched 60 years of American TV families. For example, family sizes mushroomed while shows like The Waltons, remember? And 8 is Enough, Little House on the Prairie. Anybody Little House on the Prairie fans? Oh, I'm a big Little House on the Prairie fan. Families blossomed during those years. But the American marriage took a real hit and divorce rates were at their highest in 1980. And guess what was on TV then? A funny little sitcom I actually loved called Three's Company. Who needs marriage, right? Just move in together and be best friends. So, of course, also by 1980, all of the kids who'd been born in 1962, which by the way was the year that prayer was removed from schools, were now turning 18. In 1980, see, the divorce rate was not only soaring, but the children of those divorced homes, they didn't really know how to pray. They didn't know how to survive the heartache of all of it. So what you are seeing on TV, guys, it affects you, it affects your family, and what you are seeing in film affects you too. So it is with great pleasure to introduce you to a Hollywood power couple that are changing it all. Listen, they met on the set. Some of you remember this. They met on the set of the TV series Hercules. Remember, he was Hercules and she was Serena. And now 20 years and 3 homeschooled kids later, they are still moving mountains in Hollywood, especially with the release of their latest film, Let There Be Light. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam and Kevin Sorbo.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
I didn't know we were so powerful.
A power couple.
I'll take that
for
intro
sure.
anytime.
Well, first of all, thank you, because you got up at 3 o'clock.
We did.
Got on a plane, flew here nonstop to do
No,
this
it was
interview.
way to go through Dallas.
Oh, you had to go to Dallas. I'm sorry, but you flew here and then you're having to turn around and go back.
Yes.
And you're going to be in bed at like 11:57, I think you land, and you'll wake up tomorrow and think it was all a dream. You won't even remember this. Well, I'm glad that you're here. I am really, and when I say you're a power couple, what I mean by that is, of course, through God's eyes and seeing what you have done even in your own family, the fruit in your children. Now, what are their ages? Remind me the span.
16, 13, 2 boys, and then a 12-year-old little girl.
Yes.
Octavia.
Who runs the family.
Who runs the family, of course.
Yes.
So that's the way it works.
She does.
Well, so kudos to you for doing that. And so I learned that you all were a homeschooling family.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to start there because we're a homeschooling family, and I don't know how rare it is there. There's still places where it's rare
Well,
here, but is it rare in?
It's growing pretty quick, actually. There was about 4 years ago in the state of California, they wanted to outlaw it because
Wow.
homeschool
They
kids
did.
were kicking butt on public school kids, and you can't have that.
No, they did outlaw it.
We want everybody to be mediocre, and
Yeah.
celebrate just just for participating. But don't get me going.
Right.
They did outlaw it, and then a homeschool legal defense fund stepped in
Yeah.
and sued the state and said you can't do that.
Wow.
And so we got it back.
Still paying our taxes.
That's amazing. Yeah,
So
exactly.
Let us decide where our kids can go to school.
Well, on May 25th of this year, I will graduate my 6th homeschool child, my last. And it's on my birthday. What a gift to me. Yes, it's been a 24-year journey. So I wanted to start there and just say congratulations. That's
Well,
a huge
I'm
feat.
going to jump in for a second because I'm on my 21st year now of my after-school program called the World Fit for Kids. I have the #1
Oh,
after-school
wow.
program in the state of California. And so I know how bad the school system is. LA Unified has a 54% dropout rate, starting as low as 5th grade.
Really?
We're a nonprofit. I don't get paid a penny, but we get what we can with donations. We work with 12,000 kids on average, and we average a 98% graduation rate and a 67% higher GPA.
Wow.
And the school board hates us.
Yes, I will. Isn't that
Because
interesting
what are
how
we
that
doing
works?
for those 3 hours with those kids after school that the school can't do for those kids while they're actually in school?
You guys are
It's
just
pathetic.
constantly giving back. I mean, it just, every time I read, I was trying to research and figure out which angle should I go in for. You do everything. You have your hands in everything. And I commend you for that. Let me just ask you this. You have, first of all, I went to see Let There Be Light when it had first come out in the studios, and we took a group from our church to see it.
Well, thank
I
you.
never even knew that I would, be sitting here interviewing you. Congratulations. I mean, you did a wonderful job.
thank
So,
you.
writer, director, so you directed,
I directed, yes.
you wrote, it was your script.
Yeah, I co-wrote it with Dan Gordon, who's a very well-known Hollywood screenwriter.
Yes.
It's hard to get a script made in Hollywood, and I knew that I needed a good screenwriter to work with. And I reached out to Dan, and I asked him if he would consider writing a screenplay with me. And we were acquaintances, and he said no. And so, but when I told him the idea, he jumped in with both feet. And
Well,
so,
we got to say, Dan, if you don't know him, you know his work. He was up for an Academy Award for original screenplay. He wrote The Hurricane with Denzel Washington. He wrote
okay,
White Earp,
wow,
Kevin
yeah.
Costner. He was a showrunner on Highway to Heaven with Michael Landon. So he's a very well-established writer.
Well, we have so much more to say about the movie because we've got the Blu-ray and DVD release coming out.
Yes.
So let's get to a break, and then we're going to come right back and talk to the Sorbos a little more. Stay close. You don't want to miss it. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching The Three. But you know, it dawned on me that I really need to officially introduce myself to many of you, even though I've been in television for 50 years. My parents put me in my first commercial at age 3, and that path carried me all the way to the Shop at Home TV network where I was a host. I'm a wife of 34 years to Chris, a mom to 6 adult children, and a grandmother to 8 so far. I'm an author of, goodness, over 20 books and ebooks, and whatever I write, you can count on the fact that it will help you physically, emotionally, and spiritually because my passion is body, mind, and spirit health. I'm a certified nutritionist with a degree in original medicine. And my husband and I pastor a phenomenal church in Nashville called Eastgate Creative Christian Fellowship, where we help people get healthy body, mind, and spirit. So if you're ever in the Nashville area, I hope you'll stop in and say hi. You know, God had a son, but what he wanted was a family. So he sent Jesus to come and get us. Likewise, I had a TV career, but what I really want is a TV family. As you can tell by now, I have always had one foot in media and one foot in ministry, and it's all collided now on The Three. So please become a part of The Three's family. Visit the link on your screen to give a tax-deductible gift and help me purchase airtime that takes this fun, relevant, faith-based show to a faithless world. Some TV ministries would then call you a donor or a partner, but I'm going to call you family. Go to the link and become a part of my TV family today. I can't do it without you. Thanks. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Laura Harris-Smith. You're on The Three, and we are sitting with the Sorbos. The Sorbos are on my couch. I'm so excited. And as we, went to the break, I mentioned the new movie to you, Let There Be Light, and this is the week of the Blu-ray DVD release. Now, if you did not go to the theaters and see this movie, why not, first of all?
Yeah, why not?
But second of all, I just want to tell you my little favorite part of it. It really had nothing to do with the plot, which was amazing. You wrote it. It had nothing to do with the scenery or the acting, which was amazing. Congratulations. But it had to do with a moment where you were back at your, penthouse, Mr. Famous Author, and you had invited her to stay, and you were laying down in her lap, and it was that moment, it was so tender between the two of you where you were holding him, and he made some funny comment which you took as a pass or something, and you got this cute little look on it was total chemistry. Nobody else could have done it but a married couple. I want you to just talk to me for a minute about what it was like to make the movie. You've made so many movies, okay? But that movie in particular, why was it special to your hearts? Why don't you go first, Sam?
Well, I basically functioned as his boss.
That was why you loved
really
it.
Cool. And then he was my boss because he was the director and I was the actress. The movie is exactly the movie that I wanted to make. It was the idea that I had. We're confronted in this secular world with questioning of our faith every single day, all the time, everywhere. Yeah. And it occurred to me once that atheism is a faith. In fact,
yes,
atheists tend to have greater faith than many Christians do.
It's the truth.
And so I thought, what would it look like if the world's greatest atheist had had his faith challenged? And so that's the movie that I wrote. And I'm so pleased because people have no idea. The movie goes through so many different stages, the script, then the shooting, then the editing, then the music. And so you can end up with just a big hodgepodge. There's nothing that's guaranteed. But the fact that Dan signed on right away, we got funding within 2 weeks. Fully funded from Sean Hannity.
He wrote you a check. What
called me
happened?
up and he said, I loved your movies, What If, God's Not Dead, Abel's Field. Do you have something like that? I want to do something with you. And I told her, and she says, that's my movie. We got on a plane, we flew to New York. Dan Gordon came along with us. Dan's the best pitch man in the business. He talked for 30 minutes. Sean Hannity didn't interrupt him once, which was amazing. and Sean said, I'm in.
Yeah.
And it happened. I mean, it was a God thing. It happened that quickly because most movies, when you get a greenlit idea to actually make it to a movie screen is anywhere 3 to 5 years. This was about a year and a half.
Yeah.
So it happened fairly quickly. We went to Birmingham, Alabama, doubled that as Connecticut and New York City. And
but the amazing thing is
though.
The people in the theaters, they applaud at the end of the movie. It really moves people. And then they sit through the credits. And then on the way out, they talk to complete strangers because they're
That did happen to us.
Yeah.
Some of the people here that we went to the group that went,
We had
and that happened on the way out.
So many emails from people saying that.
And that's because
They
it's
just
a
sat
movie
there
about
after it.
real life. It's a movie about fatherhood, forgiveness, family, grief, overcoming, the struggle. It's a movie about
redemption.
real things.
Yeah.
And your two sons were in
And
it.
our sons are in it.
They were.
And our daughter wasn't because she refused.
What?
She-
She
she's-
refused?
She's in
Is
one
she not
scene.
a-
You see her face there's a
She's too
scene
good
in there,
for
you've
us.
seen it, but yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I arrived to the movie late, and so there was, I don't know, it just started, it was a couple of minutes in, and I had wanted to get, to tell everyone a little bit of the subtext and who you all were, whatever. And so I'm sitting there to the movie, pass it down, that's their sons, that's both of their sons, It's just phenomenal. What a blessing that you all got to work together. Are your sons interested in acting? I mean, they're good at it.
Well,
They're really good.
Here's the problem with homeschooling, and I've shot. I did Hercules for 7 years, Andromeda 12 years. I mean,
Yes.
5 years. After that, I've shot 54 movies to date.
Gosh.
So they grew up on the movie set.
Yeah.
So for them, being on a set is not that big a deal. And I knew they'd come to me, and about 4 years ago, they said, "Dad, I think we want to be actors." And I went, "Oh no." And so we put them into classes. There's a class within 3 miles from our house, which is great. And I auditioned them. We auditioned them for the roles. I told them, I said flat out, if I don't feel you can handle this, there's too much money riding on this because it's not my money. So I said, if I don't feel you can do this, then I'm not going to cast you. But they did a great job.
Yeah.
They did a great job in it.
Yeah, and they're easy on the eyes too. They're both really handsome. Well, so you're making the movie together, and I didn't ever find it. How long did it take to make the film, to shoot it?
Just under a month.
So
Yeah.
you did it in under a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then editing took a
Editing
few months.
always takes
Yeah.
longer. There's a lot of work in
Sure.
editing. She was in there a lot. She worked like crazy on the editing of it.
That's fun.
And we
I
had a
like
great
that-
team
that
all the way
part.
around, the music team and everybody. I
Yeah.
mean, it's funny because for those of you who saw God's Not Dead, I played an atheist college professor, which is probably redundant. I should just say college professor. And,
Oh boy.
can't help
You're
myself.
going to get yourself into trouble, aren't you?
And so in this one, I play the world's greatest atheist.
Yes.
I'm like a Hitchens. I'm like a Dawkins. So I've had a number of people who go, so you played another atheist? I said, yeah. Apparently, there's only 2 in the world.
It's like the fruitcake. There's only 2 in the world. Pass it all around.
Exactly.
Same one.
But it was. I loved the part that she wrote for me. I loved the growth
He
this
cried
character
when he
got.
read the
I'm
script.
telling you.
Oh, I'm on a plane
sorry that
reading
you
it for
were
the first
perfect for
time, and I laughed in about 5 places, and I cried in about 3 places. And the guy next to me goes, "What's wrong with you, man?"
Yeah.
And I said, "You'll see the movie in a year and a
But
half."
I'm trying to think if there's anybody else who could have done that role. I think the element of a non-cheesy Christian film it's in the acting. Writing is important as well, and the director is important. But I'm not sure who else could have taken that role and made the amazing metamorphosis they did and it not be unrealistic. And it wasn't. It was beautiful.
Oh, thank
I mean,
you.
really
Thank you for
good job.
saying that.
So we're going to come back in just a moment. We've got more conversation to go. I want to dig into a little bit more in their personal lives. They're a phenomenal couple. Thank you all for being here again.
my pleasure.
Don't go away. We're going to be right back on the Three. Hey, what do you think of when I ask about your health? Probably just your diet, weight, or a sickness. But health involves so much more than just the body. You also have a spirit and a mind that need nourishing, and the Healthy Living Handbook is going to do just that. It contains a top 10 list of healthy living habits for your spirit, where we'll discuss your prayer life, the Holy Spirit, things you may be substituting for God and not even know it. Then Section 2 contains a top 10 list for your mind. I'm going to help you get organized, deal with stress, help you laugh more, and never be discouraged again. There's even a relationship quiz there that helps you make sure the people in your life are the right ones. Then in Section 3, there's a top 10 list for your body. We'll study the 3 biggies, meat, wheat, and sweets, and other things like weight loss, water consumption, and there's even my essential oils list that tells you which oils help the top 50 common household ailments. Go to lauraharrissmith.com and get your copy of the Healthy Living Handbook today. What if there was a reset button for your body, mind, and spirit? There is! I wrote the 30-Day Faith Detox so you could cleanse your body, renew your mind, and heal your spirit. There are 30 daily devotionals to confront emotional residues from past trials, what I call faith toxins, prayers to refresh your spirit, and then through yummy strategic foods, each of your 15 body systems are cleansed for a total body detox. People are losing weight and gaining faith. Go to lauraharrissmith.com today to get your copy of the 30-Day Faith Detox.
You feel so tall to me.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm sitting here with Kevin and Sam Sorbo. We're having a lot of fun. You guys, I've said it before, but you just are a power couple, okay? And I say that because of just everything that you bring to the table in terms of your faith. I was going to say, was it January 5th?
Yeah.
January 5th was your 20th anniversary. That was the anniversary of
That's
our
like a
first
golden
date.
anniversary in Hollywood.
Oh, nice.
So.
Yeah, it is a golden anniversary in Hollywood. But no, 20 years is a big deal. Yes, on January 5th, Chris and I celebrated the 35th anniversary of our first date.
Wow.
We've been married 34 years.
Wow.
So anyway, congratulations, yes, on your anniversary. But I just wanted to ask you, and I know everybody's wanting to know this too. So you met on the set of Hercules.
Yeah.
So you were Serena, of course, Princess Kieran and all that.
right.
Yes, okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's good.
But it's the same. So then when was that moment that you knew? Immediately, really?
Oh, yeah.
Look,
Okay.
I started hitting on her right away. I'm working her hard, and she laughs at me. She goes, "Look, I don't date actors, and I don't date guys with long hair." She says to me.
And I don't date long distance.
You know, yeah.
And I'm like, 3 strikes, you're out.
So you were in another state?
I lived in New Zealand for 7 years. That's where I shot
know that.
Hercules.
Wow.
It's on Netflix, so check it out.
Yeah. He's a good
But
salesman,
it
too.
was the most watched TV show in the world. I was very
Yes.
proud of being part of that. We passed Baywatch, so
Well,
which is kind of cool.
yeah.
But
It's
I
hard to
worked
pass
by
Baywatch.
the 3rd day. Can I tell real quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I finally talk her into a date. So I pick her up in the car, and you drive on the other side of the road there, you know that. So she gets in the car, I have country music on. She goes, "Country music?" I said, "Well, yeah, it's the only country station in all of New Zealand, but if you want to change it." She goes, "No, I like country music." So we get to dinner, we start talking, and she said, Are you conservative? And because the things I said, and I said, "Yes, I am." She goes, "Oh, well, I am too." Started talking some more. She goes, "Are you a Christian?" I said, "Yes, I am a Christian." She said, "Wow, country music, Christian, and conservative, the 3 C's. I think I'm in love with you."
That was her litmus test.
That's how we kind of got the ball rolling. It happened pretty quick.
So we did have it
He
quickly?
started talking about marriage on our very first date.
Oh, my goodness.
And he
Well,
said
he's a good salesman.
He
Scary.
said he knew where he wanted to be married, and I knew exactly where. It was weird. It was a little town called Garmisch in the Swiss Alps, and I guessed it.
She guessed
And then
it.
he said, "And I'm going to have 3 kids." And I said, "Me too, boy, boy, girl." And he goes, "That's what I'm having."
I've known that since I was 16.
you're not just actors, you're prophets. That's
boy,
amazing.
boy, girl.
We did.
Well, I want to squeeze this in for a moment here. I was on Hercules.
Yes.
It was there that you wound up having a series of strokes.
I had an aneurysm
You
in
had
my left
an
shoulder that I
aneurysm,
didn't
yeah.
know about. And I was in really good shape back then. So I was everything opposite what they look for is somebody to have something like that happen. But it ultimately opened up, sent hundreds of clots in this arm, but 3 clots went in my brain. I suffered 3 strokes.
And you tell the story in your book,
And some of the book, True Strength, it's
Yeah.
out there now.
It's an
I do a lot of
amazing-
speaking events on it. I speak at hospitals, I speak at churches, I speak at medical centers. And
It is an amazing story if you know somebody who's going through a crisis in their life. And
Right.
your introduction to this whole thing, and you talked about the 3 sort of spheres, and so he went through that too because he had a physical impairment, but also an emotional crisis and a spiritual
All at the
crisis
same
as
time.
well.
Wow.
And so the book covers all 3 of those.
I
and
wrestled a
it's-
lot with God. I
Did
don't
you?
recommend it. You will not beat him.
And plus, our love stories in there, and those are the chapters
Yeah.
that I wrote, and they're the best.
They're
Oh,
the
they're the
best.
best ones.
They're the best.
You guys sound like my husband and I when we talk. Okay, so the thing that interests me is that you didn't tell anyone for a while.
Yeah.
You know what? It's the male ego.
Right.
I
get it.
On one
And
hand,
the
I'm very
studio.
fortunate. The studio kept it quiet too, because we were.
Okay.
They wanted to finish
I
at
can
least
see
the
the
last 2
reasons,
seasons.
actually, yeah. You're Hercules and, you know, you
But
always-
when I went back to work 4 months later, I had 4 months of rehab learning how to walk again. Which was tough on the ego, and I'm playing a guy called Hercules. And one way I was lucky where the strokes went, 2 went to my balance center, 1 went to my vision. I still have a 10% loss in both eyes, but obviously 3 bullets to the brain like that, I could have been killed, I could have been in a wheelchair rest of my life, there's a lot of different places I could have gone. So she said, "We got to write the book, we got to get this book out there, you have to do this." And I didn't want to do it. So the book came out, it's 6 years ago now, it came out in 2012.
guess, yeah.
And she's right when it came out, because I've had so many people come up to me at book signings, and I do speaking events, saying, "Your book made me stop feeling sorry for myself," because we're all going to hit a roadblock in our life. What are you going to do when that roadblock hits you? How do you react to it? Do you blame God? Do you blame the universe? Do you blame everybody else, which we tend to do? The reality is you got to look in the mirror and find, and the book is True Strength based on the Hercules. That was fake strength. I had a lot of stunt guys making me look pretty studly. The reality is look in the mirror and find the true strength within yourself. And she gave me a mantra to say every day in front of the mirror and say, "I'm getting better, I'm getting stronger." And she said, "Say it every day until you believe it."
You
and
are
it was huge for
remarkable.
me.
You
So,
are.
yeah, well,
No,
she stuck by my
I
side.
keep telling him that.
Yeah. I think he knows this.
But it
this
was,
is amazing.
yeah, so I'm grateful I did it. And We have the follow-up book, True Faith, coming out in the spring, and we're just staying busy. We are doing a lot of juggling, there's no question.
Well, I want to urge everyone, again, to check this out. This movie is the kind of movie that you can take your friends to. It's a kind of movie that you need to just have
This
a
is the
home
book.
party.
The book is out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is the book. But
The
you
book's
can have
available,
your.
yeah.
I just want to urge everyone to just consider how you can use these as tools. They're like little missionaries. They're going to work while you sleep, you know. And so you can give these as gifts. You can just find a way to open up conversations with those people in your life that need God. They need God in their family. They need Him in their workplace, and you are often that connection that's going to get them there. I just have to squeeze this in. This is your book and introduction by Kevin Sorbo. I like that. So it's Teach from Love. This is your devotional book. Sam, tell us a little bit about it.
Our children need to understand godly characteristics. They need to be able to absorb those, and they're not going to get it from our traditional schools. And as you know, I'm a homeschooler, and I advocate homeschooling, and I've written books on homeschooling as well. But I decided to write a devotional for families to do, to encourage children to follow in the steps of Jesus, basically.
And you also wrote a book, They're Your Kids.
They're Your Kids.
Which we tell people all of the time about homeschooling. They're your
February
kids.
27th.
February
Walmart.
27th. It will be out on, yes, February 27th.
It's available on Amazon right now.
It is. It's Amazon right now. It's available.
Get a jump start. All right, everybody. Another great episode. Thank you, Kevin and Sam, for coming
Thank you.
Here with us today. See you next time, everybody. Thank you.